3 little secrets to grow your confidence. Hey, my dear, I am leadership development coach Kathy Archer and author of best-selling book, Mastering Confidence. What I know to be true is that most women often hit a point in their career where they feel in over their heads and wondering if they have what it takes to lead. In my courses and in my coaching, I give women the inner and outer tools to restore their lost confidence, turn that around so they can move from surviving to thriving in both their leadership and their life. Thank you for joining me today, whether you are on the live call or watching the replay. I'm grateful that you're here. And today we are going to talk about those 3 little secrets that help you to restore your confidence or grow or develop your confidence. Before we get there, I am going to pop on over and share this into my Confident Women Leaders group. While I'm doing that, I want you to tell me about one of the, actually, I shouldn't get you to tell me a story. Tell me one word. What does Valentine's mean to you? Because yesterday was Valentine's. I'm going to share this to a group. As I'm sharing, let me find my Confident Women Leaders group. You can only do one thing at once. Valentine's was yesterday, and some women think that Valentine's is overrated, and some women think that it's Facebook changed. Sorry, I'm a little bit thrown off. So I'm looking at my phone going, did I really do this? I love it when things happen and you have to like second guess yourself because you're not sure you're on the right track. So back to Valentine's. One more thing. I'm sorry, guys. I have to make sure that I shut off my Dropbox or we're going to lose connectivity today. All right. I think I'm ready to roll. So some women find that Valentine's is like overrated. Other women think that it's really important. Yesterday, I posted in my Confident Women Leaders group, one of the things that we need to do as women leaders is show more self-love. So that was my question. If you're joining late, what do you think of Valentine's? One word, just one word, what you think it means to you. And again, today we are going to talk about the 3 little secrets that grow your confidence. Before we get there, I want to talk a little bit about Mastering Confidence and the upcoming Mastering Confidence Intensive. What I know, as I said earlier, to be true is that many of us find those times when we're in over our head, we're struggling, our confidence is fading. And some of you have bought Mastering Confidence, or you've looked at it, or you've done other things to consider you're growing your confidence, and you still are struggling. That's why I wanted to create the Mastering Confidence Intensive. So it is an 8-week online course. And here's the thing about it. We take Mastering Confidence, we study it together. We meaning you, me, and the other women in the group. What often happens is women buy a book or a course and they struggle to get it done. They struggle to follow through with it. And so I wanted to create a course that helps you to have the accountability, have the support, have the network to do that. So in 8 weeks, we are going to go through Mastering Confidence. Mastering Confidence is a framework to help you grow your confidence. As you will learn as we go through today, confidence is a journey and it's not something that happens overnight. And so I think what you need to do is have that framework that helps you bounce back. So the Mastering Confidence Intensive helps you to go through the course with a group of other women who are also going through it together. Silver River Coaching /MC Intensive will get you all of the details to get you into the Mastering Confidence Intensive. Again, 8 weeks starting February 26th. This segment right here is going to be a perfect example for what I'm going to talk about later in the session. Notice how I'm struggling right now. Notice how I am knocked off kilter, knocked off my game, and just working to regain, there it goes again, my sense of balance. Watch me as I'm doing this right now. Watch me pull myself back, regain my level of confidence, and then watch as I move through the rest of my session today and notice the difference that you see in me in the last few minutes and as you see me moving forward. Because I tell you, what's happened is much of what I talk about in Mastering Confidence, and it's that process, that system that I have for regaining that sense of balance that helps me to do that as I work through coaching you, as I work through teaching you, as I work through these lives, as I work through a session in front of the room, whatever it is that I'm doing. It's that ability to regain that sense of balance that makes a difference in your level of confidence. So on with the show. The problem is many of us struggle with this lack of confidence, and it hits us in many ways. I think one of the places that it hits us most is when there's the level of team drama, conflict in your organization, you're working in a toxic environment, you are struggling with something that's going on in your workplace. And let me tell you, that's hit me a zillion times in my career. I can think of times where I had a grievance filed against me. I can think of times when I've had staff who threw me under the bus more times than I care to remember. When my boss undermined my authority, all of those times created that level of, or that lack of confidence. I got knocked off. I thought I was doing fine, and all of a sudden somebody said something, or a comment came my way, or an email was thrown at me, and I started to feel that lack of confidence. So that's one of the things that knocks us off kilter. Another thing that makes us lose our level of confidence is overwhelm and overload. Have you ever felt that time in your career, or maybe you're feeling it right now, where you just have no idea how you can get done everything that's on your to-do list? You just can't even imagine getting through the top 3 things, let alone the 50 things. And then look at the meetings and the emails and everything else that you've got going on for you. How do you do all of that, right? And so many of us are feeling that level of overwhelm, and that's knocking us off kilter. If that's what you're feeling, give me a thumbs up. If you're going through the workplace drama, give me a thumbs up. So those are 2 things. The third thing that often happens that hits our level of confidence is when something goes on in our personal life. So maybe you've had a health issue, or you've had marriage struggles, or you're going on with something in your kids, or your mom is struggling with her health, or you've done something that has just sort of made you feel that lack of confidence in your life. Maybe you've gained some weight that you aren't so happy about, but something's happened and it's thrown you off. I can think of times I supervised in parenting programs, and so one of the things that threw me was anytime something went wrong with my kids, that would throw my level of confidence. And there were some pretty big things in our journey through those first 18 years of our kids' lives of parenting that was not very good, and it certainly would make someone get uncomfortable. But for me, leading parenting programs, it was 10 times worse, I tell you. I was constantly afraid that the child welfare workers were going to come knocking on my door. And so that often would make me, feel that hit of lack, or a hit into my confidence. So those are the things that often hit us in our confidence. So what are the 3 little secrets to help you regain your level of confidence? The first one is confidence is what you think. Confidence is not what somebody else thinks you're capable of. Confidence is not what somebody else thinks you can do. Confidence is what you think. Think about that for a second. Think. It's what's going on in here. It's the mind chatter that you have. It's the thoughts rolling around in your head. If you think you can climb a mountain, you'll be able to do it. If you're not sure you can climb a mountain, if you're hesitant you can climb a mountain, if you are doubtful you can climb a mountain, chances are you're probably not going to be able to do it. You probably won't even start. The same is true if you think you can handle the conversation you're going to walk into. If you believe that you're going to walk into that conversation and it's going to be difficult, and that person's going to get angry, but if you believe in yourself, if you believe in your abilities, if you have faith in what you're going to say and trust that the outcome's going to work, you are going to have a higher level of confidence. Confidence is what you think you can do. If you doubt you can handle that conversation, you keep saying to yourself, oh my God, this is going to go awful. Oh my God, they're going to get mad. They're going to storm into the room. My boss is going to question my abilities. If you keep going down that path, you are going to work yourself into a tizzy, and you are going to walk into that meeting and your stomach's going to be in knots. You're going to be sweating profusely. Your heart's going to be racing, and you are not going to feel confident at all. Confidence is your thoughts. The problem is, much of our thoughts are unconscious. We are not aware of our thoughts. In Mastering Confidence, I'm going to tell you the page because I know some of you have just bought the book. There are many people who are now just joining my weekly Facebook Lives, following along, who were in one of the webinars that I did recently. And so some of you have just bought Mastering Confidence. So I want to make sure that I do some referencing here. Confidence starts talking about in section 3, and I'm talking about that whole train of thought that we have, that sometimes we get lost on the train of thought. So page 38, we're talking about confidence is the self-assuring the self. It's that, think about I want to grab my notes so I'm not making sure that I'm not missing anything. Think of the words that we use to describe confidence: self-confidence, self-assured, sort of those things that remind us that it's in our heads, that it's the self-assuring the self. It's not somebody else telling us we're capable. It's not somebody else telling us we can do it. I was at a Toastmasters meeting the other night, and when we give speeches in Toastmasters, what we do is everybody in the room gives a little sort of 3-sentence evaluation on a little scrap of piece of paper, and at the end of the person's speech, they hand it to that person. And what I said to one of the newcomers was, here's a hint. Don't read that until much later. Take the moment at first to ask yourself, how did I feel about the speech I just gave? What do I believe about my abilities, and what do I want to sort of tell myself first, what I did well, what I was good at, and then maybe what I could work on next time I give a speech, before you get all of that input about what everybody else thinks about your speech, because that's where your confidence grows. It's when you start looking at what's going on in your head. The other thing I want to say about those thoughts, most of them are unconscious, and we have what we call a negativity bias. It is born and bred in us. It is in our genes, and it comes from years and years and years of evolution, that the first thing we do is we look for the negative. The first thing we do is what will keep us alive, basically. It's that if there is the tiger breathing down our neck, or the storm brewing, or the person who's going to yell at us, our automatic reaction is to tune into that. And so we have that sort of reference in our brain where we have to check in and sort of say, what's going on? All right, I got Jean on here, and I'm reading your comment, Jean. Confidence is what you think you can do. Positive self-talk is important. It's amazing. And that's the catch, right? It's the positive self-talk. We are so tuned into the negative self-talk. And that's the whole second little secret that you need to know. The first one is that confidence is made up of what we think we can do. The second one is that you have to learn to manage what's going on up here, because what's going on up here is mostly negative. It is mostly not helpful. And again, the reason for that is we have this negativity bias, which is trying to keep us alive. And honestly, when we're in the middle of a meeting, or when we're sitting there with a coworker or a subordinate or a boss or whoever it is, we're trying to stay alive in that situation. And so we have to slow that thinking down and start to shift it to more positive thoughts. But you have to become aware of those thoughts first. And then you have to learn to manage those thoughts, right? So again, in Mastering Confidence, I give you this system. So let me give you an example. As I was preparing for this session, those of you who follow along my Facebook Lives know I have a guide sheet for you today. It's in the little notes. I think it's this direction. It's in the little notes. There's a guide sheet number 8, and it's about managing your mind chatter. So I was going through preparing for today's session, and I'm pulling up my guide sheets, wondering if I need to create a new one, or if there's one that really is going to be helpful for you today. I realize I've already got one about mind chatter. Don't need to reinvent the wheel. Pop on over to there to make sure that it's working. And the first thing, guess what I see? A spelling mistake. So those of you that know me know that that's one of my challenges. Spelling and grammar is not my strong suit. And what was the first thing that went through my head? Dear God, Kathy, can you do this again? Like, how many times do you make these mistakes? How many, you have Grammarly, which is an app to correct your spelling. Did you not use it? And really quickly, I was about to go down that path where I start beating myself up, which, what's that going to do? As soon as I do that, it's going to tank my confidence, right? It's going to throw me down that path that is saying, Kathy, you aren't good at this. What makes you think you can stand in front of people and teach people? And, you know, they're going to judge you for your ability to spell. But I caught myself really, really fast, partly because I said it out loud, dear God, Kathy. And as soon as I hear myself say that, I'm pretty sure, especially when I hear it laced with sarcasm, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be taking myself down that negativity path. And I know right away that I need to catch that thought before, and again, I talk about this in the book, before it becomes one of those runaway trains. Have you ever had that? Where you've sort of been on a train of thought and you go way like you are in Timbuktu before you catch it and pull it back and you're like, man, I've been on that train of thought for 15 minutes. And if I'd caught it like at minute 1 or 2, it would have been a whole different story. That's what we're talking about. It's about catching it sooner rather than later, because that's what's going to help you be a more confident person. Because when you start going down that path and you get caught on that train and you pick up speed, it just sucks you in really, really fast. And so we have to start to manage those thoughts. And you, my dear, have that ability to manage those thoughts. You have the ability to catch those thoughts before it's too late. So that's the second little secret. First little secret, remember what it was? Confidence is what you think you can do. Second little secret is that you have to learn to manage those thoughts, and you can manage those thoughts. You have that ability to manage those thoughts going on in your head. And it's when you're able to manage those thoughts that you are going to feel your level of confidence rise. So want to know what the third little secret is? Any ideas? As I work to flip my pages here. The third little secret is that this is a journey. It does not happen overnight. It does not happen in the blink of an eye. I cannot snap my fingers or wave my magic wand and suddenly make you feel more confident. You need to do the inner work. You need to take yourself through this process of becoming aware of your thoughts, managing your thoughts, losing your thoughts, becoming aware of your thoughts again, getting a handle on your thoughts, losing your thoughts again, becoming more aware. It is a process. It's the process that I teach in Mastering Confidence called the inner guidance cycle. Pause, ponder, pivot, proceed. You have to stop like I did in the middle when I was saying that, you know, dear God, Kathy, here's another spelling mistake. Or if you're coming on now, noticing how I was at the beginning when there was a couple things that threw me off balance, and you seen me at the beginning of this live kind of start to, you know, stumble over my words and lose track of where I was. And so I had to manage what was going on in my mind for that few minutes. And I had to regain that sense of, I got this. I can, you know, control what's going on in my brain. I don't need to lose myself. People are going to be patient and wait for me. Those people who love me will continue to love me. And those who think I'm nuts will probably tune out and move on. And that's okay, because they're probably not going to get much from my session anyhow. And I have to come back to those thoughts. But it is a process. I haven't gotten to where I am now without doing a lot of that inner work. This past week, last week, I was on I did a webinar for Charity Village, and there were literally hundreds and hundreds of people on that webinar. And at the very, very beginning of that webinar, we had some technology issues, and they couldn't hear me. They could hear me, but not very well. And so I tried one thing quickly, and that didn't work. And so I had to then sort of get off and phone back in, which took a couple minutes. And then once I phoned back in, my slides were gone. Do you see where this could have went really fast? I very quickly could have gotten knocked off my train of sort of level of confidence at that moment. And I didn't. The moderator said to me after, she goes, man, you didn't miss a beat. And I thought, no, you're right. I really didn't. I just kept going because I've done this work. This has been a process. This has been a journey for me. And that's what I talk about in Mastering Confidence. It's not something that is going to magically happen overnight. There are a couple tricks, and I give you the couple tricks to help you boost your confidence. And you can get those on my homepage, silverrivercoaching.com. There are a couple of 2 quick confidence boosters that will help you get through any situation, and that's helpful. But there's also a level of ongoing confidence that you need to build, and it is a journey. It is a process. First secret, confidence is what you think you can do. Second secret is you can manage what's going on in your head. Third secret is it's a journey, it's a process, and it requires a lot of inner work, introspection, time to sift through what's going on in your head. And some of that happens in the middle of the day when you are in the middle of a meeting, in the middle of stuff going on. Some of it happens when you take time to step back, slow down. Do some of this, taking a coffee break and going outside and taking a deep breath, doing some journaling, going for a walk, taking a day off here and there. How do you think confidence and risk-taking work together? Oh, they work incredibly well together. Great question, Jean. When I often use a number of C's when I'm talking about confidence. So confidence starts with the sense of credibility. So you have to have a level of, not credibility, knowledge. I'll come up with a C in a minute. You have to know what you're doing. You have to be skilled at it. So, you start with going to school or taking a course or something. You have a level of knowledge. And you start then to, some people will take conflict resolution or, I can't think, there's something conversations. There's another course that's really big out there now about conversations, crucial conversations, that's it. And you'll take a course and you'll learn these skills, but you're not competent at those skills until you have the courage to practice those skills and fail again and again and again, and then sort of get back up and try again. You have to have that level of courage to practice it. And that's risk taking. When you take conflict resolution or mediation training or crucial conversations, or you learn a communication skill, you have to risk trying that with your employee. You have to risk doing that with your boss, your partner, your friend. You have to take that risk. And that risk is, I'm going to be vulnerable in this situation. That risk is they may not take too kindly to what I'm going to say. I may not say it right. I may embarrass myself. I may embarrass them. It's going to be awkward, weird, scary, uncomfortable. But I am willing to take that risk because what I know, and this is what we've talked about when we're talking about getting out of your comfort zone, when you get through that, the comfort zone isn't really comfortable. We often think it is, but our comfort zone is often what we're tolerating, we're settling, we're putting up with. It's when we get outside of that comfort zone and move through that level of fear, take the risk, have the courage to say something, do something, change something, that we find we move into our zone of potential, that we jump over there, and that's when we start to feel that level of confidence. We also start to feel more satisfaction in our lives. We start to feel more fulfillment, and that's because we've talked about this continuum. We've moved from that survival mode place to thriving, but you got to get through that middle zone, and it is uncomfortable. It is awkward. It is weird, scary. Takes that level of risk, takes that courage to do that. And you're not going to develop that level of confidence without those risks, without having the courage to do that. And that's why I say this is the third secret. It is a journey. It is a process. It takes time. Think of learning to walk. Think of learning to ride a bike. Think of learning to swim. All of those things took time, right? If you are an adult and you pick up anything new, a new skill like singing, dancing, painting, writing poetry, whatever it is, it's a skill that you need to work at, and it takes time and effort. You're not going to get there without putting that time in, taking some risks, and then having the courage to do that, and that's when you're going to start to master your confidence. Great question, Jean. Hopefully I answered it. Give me a thumbs up or let me know if I did. So again, I come back to the three secrets to growing your confidence. It is confidence is what you think you can do. You can manage your thoughts. It is quite possible. Many, many people do it. And it's a process. It's a journey. And I talk about that in Mastering Confidence. The Mastering Confidence Intensive is a course that's coming up February 26th. And in Mastering Confidence, there is a free online course. So you can buy the book. You can go get the online course, do it yourself. There's videos, worksheets, questions that get you through the thing. But what many people find is that they don't have the motivation or the accountability to do it on their own, that they want to do it in a learning environment where they're having conversations with other people, where they are sort of getting that sense of what's going on for other people. And so what I know is that when you create that environment, women often take their learning to a new level. And so that's what Mastering Confidence is. 8 weeks, there's a private Facebook group where we get to talk about what you're learning in the book, where you get to post questions. If you're comfortable, you can post some of your thoughts about what's happening as you go through the exercises. But again, Mastering Confidence takes you through that journey to master your confidence. It is a journey. It takes time. It takes effort. And you need to do that inner work. You're not going to magically become more confident. You're not going to suddenly feel better about yourself. You have to grow that level of confidence yourself. And that's what I do in Mastering Confidence. And so if you're interested, join the Mastering Confidence Intensive. Again, the link is in the notes. Any questions, ask them now while we're on live, or feel free to post them in the comments after, because I check all of those if you're watching on the replay. And do the inner work, my dear. When you take the time to do this inner work, when you take the time to start to look at what's going on in your head, manage what's going on in your head, and take those risks, develop that level of confidence by being courageous, you are going to move from surviving to thriving in both your leadership and life. Make the rest of your day awesome, my dear. Thanks. Have a great day.